Good morning, everybody. Welcome, all of you. Happy you made it, even though it's probably a public holiday also in most of your countries. So public holiday and a reminder to take care of our body, mind, heart. Like in Sri Lanka, the full moon is every month a holiday. Just really good to have breaks in between, official breaks, where we are really allowed to care and to rest. It's also a day which can serve to emphasize the importance of community and connection. So happy we're here together. If there's anybody here who doesn't know me yet, my name is Nirmala and I am practicing meditation since more than 20 years and offering the teachings also since a very long time. And I am very much into embodied movement meditation. And also I'm guiding people and supporting people with body-focused therapy sessions. And at the moment I'm doing a new training. This is a trauma therapy training by Peter Levine, and I also recommend some of his books I put here in the chat. So if you have a question at the end of our session, there will be 50 minutes time for question and answer. You can type the question in capital letters, and I hope I will find it in the chat there. I do my best. Yeah. So we all long for connection, and yet we experience our deepest pain also in the field of connections, in the field of relationships. Being in this life includes struggling, pain, suffering. It involves psychological pain, emotional pain. We all carry the wounds of our ancestors also in us, collective wounds we carry through generations. And we don't need to make a drama out of it. It's just like how it is. This is dukkha. A pain which comes through in our body, in our mind, in our heart, and in our nervous system. Yesterday I was giving a really short and basic overview about the three main functioning parts of our autonomous nervous system. And one part of it we can call the social nervous system. Our nervous system reacts to the people around us, but more so to their nervous system. So it's just my nervous system reacting to your nervous system. And if we are really aware of that and can read the signs, like our own signs when we are in a state of relaxation and when we are agitated and when we are like over agitated, like blocked out. Actually, it's really like a break, like when we're very activated, very full of anxiety, there comes like a break which stops the system and calms us down again. But it's in a very it's been supportive in really difficult situations, but those situations are not there anymore, but we are kind of still stuck in it. So it's really helpful to be mindful of the signs of the different states, to be mindful of our nervous system, so we can read other people's nervous system, and we don't need to react or just know what is reacting, that we react to the gaze people have, or the stiff nose, the stiff face, which comes there when we are activated. And then our system thinks, oh, there is danger around because the other person is in danger. And this is just evolutionary healthy. And the invitation is to go beyond these stories, beyond, like evolution is going further, right? It's happening here now. So the mindfulness of the service system, of the nervous system, can really support us in being compassionate and kind, not taking things personal. And when we come close to this topic and explore it over this week, it can be hard for some people. We are so used to control and have things in control and holding so much in ourselves. There's a saying, the issues are in our tissues. The issues are in our tissues, and it's true. And if we get more settled and grounded and mindful in general, but also through our practice, our nervous system calms down, and there's a chance that triggers even get bigger. It's like we are creating this space of safety and relaxation, and as it is as if our system thinks, wow, great, now there's space, security, and safety to show up. Now it's safe enough to show up with my pain, with my grief, with anxiety, with worries, with everything which I was holding like so long. So this is really normal. And just to know this, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's really important to spend time with a relaxed nervous system, or as relaxed as possible. So today I really want to emphasize lightness and joy, that what feels good. And it's also like the movement during this week, like what I'm offering today, that we intentionally focus on the things which are good or good enough. And I was mentioning this during the week, like it could be the look out of the window, the seeing the branches moving, seeing the sky, could be the connection with the hand to some texture you enjoy, being in the body in a space which feels good or wide open or better than the rest. And if you don't find anything at all, you can still imagine. You can either think about a situation which was more light, easy, or joyful, or you can imagine something opposite from where you are now. It could be anything which comes up, like just a word or a color or whatever, like what is opposite from this like really tense state if you're in it. And this wave during the week, like having brought the attention on the nervous system and all what comes up from this, is also a wave we can experience within our systems. Like anytime you feel tensed, really look for the good, look for the good. In the book from Rick Hansen, I also recommend here Buddha's Brain. He talks about this, how we are so used to focus on the negative things. And this is also the evolutionary part of our, like the oldest part of our brain, where we survived, our species survived by looking out for danger everywhere. And so going to the negative, and we have to really to train ourselves. And it takes 20 seconds to stay with something positive until it really lands in our brain. And it's kind of unfair, right? Like, I mean, everything which is difficult lands there immediately and makes the stories and the emotions bigger and stronger. And if there's something like beautiful as those yellow flowers here in front of me, I really need to feel in my body, and stay with that feeling for 20 seconds. And that's what we really need to learn. Yesterday, there was a question, and I want to come back to this question because I haven't responded to that yesterday, and it's really worth addressing it. one person shares, and I wrote it somewhere here. I feel like I'm mostly in the state of I can't, but with slow breathing and other signs of glimpses of I am at the same time. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. And just for those of us here who weren't there yesterday, I explained the three major stages of our nervous system. And like the state where we are really activated and lose our ground, we come there from a state of I am, and this is the state when we were like born also, but we can also experience this a lot when we are grounded enough and when we in our meditation practice. And I am, and when there comes a bit activation in our system, it's like I can move, I can talk, I can make my boundaries clear, I can say yes and no. And if the activation gets really strong, the triggers are really strong, it's like I have to fight or flight. I have to. There's no choice there anymore. And that's already part of the social nervous system, I call. And then there can be a really like alarm state, and this is like I can't. So this person who shares yesterday says she's mostly in the state of I can't, but with slow breathing and other signs and glimpses of I am at the same time. So this is tricky because the physiological reactions in the state when we lose our ground, when we are very alarmed, is that the heartbeat gets slower and the blood pressure gets slower. There is like we call it dorsal brake, which stopped the activation. And this is like, if you look back into nature, this is when really an animal wants to kill another animal, and this animal just knocks out, gets numbs and dissociates, so it doesn't like feel anymore. And in this state, we can also, like, the body produces endorphins, so we are not aware. It's not like so easy to find out that we are not there anymore, or more, that we are not in contact with ourselves and with others, that life is not easy because it's kind of a stiff and it's not a relaxed state. And like you described it, if you're here today, it sounds to me as this is the case for you, maybe, that you're like very high activated, not so much in contact, not fluid, not in the state of I'm like enjoying life. It's easy for me because you say you're most of the time in the state of I can't. And then there's really the invitation to get support. And it could be like, because it's a state which is there as a social nervous system. We are there because of other people in our life, because of our caretakers. And it's not their fault because they just had their nervous system. But what we need is a regulated nervous system around us to get the balance here, to help us to come down. And, maybe you can solve by sitting on the cushion and meditate. I don't think so. I think when we are really high up there, we need another person, we need another hand, we need somebody to listen, somebody who's regulated in their nervous system, so it spreads over to our nervous system, and we know, there's no danger here. And and coming out of this high state, it never goes down immediately to the I am, life is easy, I'm relaxed. It goes to through the whatever you brought you there, through grief or anger, and be very, very gently with that. And for that, it's good to have somebody who can support you with that. Another way around is very much possible that we are in a relaxed state and a really grounded state where we're relaxed, we're just at ease, fine. We're in a state of I am. And meditation invokes this in us, like or in meditation, we are there, where there's just this spaciousness and everything can be there. And even a very high agitation, there we can find a space where we can be really with all kinds of triggers and everything. And when the tiger comes, it's important to run and to move and not sit on the cushion, of course. And taking the approach of the nervous system is just one approach to the practice, and really take from it what feels supportive for you. Really go with your direct experience in your body. The Buddha, he also taught the calming of bodily formations. He did that in the Satipatthana Sutra. And the first foundation of mindfulness he taught was the mindfulness of the body. And he taught different ways to do that. And one is the description of mindfulness of breathing. And there are others, which I find very soothing for the nervous system, like being aware of all postures, of all activities, being mindful of the elements in our bodies. Also, but meditating on a corpse, or being mindful of different stages of a corpse, I wouldn't do to calm down my nervous system. So I like to read, just before we go into the meditation, a translation from Analayo, from a part of the sutra. Breathing in long, one knows I breathe in long. Breathing out long, one knows I breathe out long. Breathing in short, one knows I breathe in short. Breathing out short, one knows I breathe out short. One trains this, I shall breathe in, experiencing the whole body. One trains this, I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole body. One trains this, I shall breathe in, calming the bodily formations. One trains this, I shall breathe out, calming the bodily formations. So the invitation is to go from there into your practice. And I invite you to lay down, but check for yourself if this is supportive for you at this moment. And just check for yourself if you want to close your eyes, or if you better leave them open and move them around like we did in the last days, to orient yourself. We only feel safe and relaxed when we are orientated, when we are secure and in contact with us, with the world around. So what could be your ways for now to get in contact with yourself? And maybe just allowing the breath to go a bit deeper, especially the exhalation. With the inhalation, you could bring awareness into your head, and with the exhalation, just allowing the head to drop down even a bit more, as if the earth is receiving you, melting around you. And with the inhalation, you could bring awareness into the space of your shoulders. And with the exhalation, you could allow your shoulders to drop down even a bit more, allowing them to sink. And with the inhalation, you can breathe in and maybe expanding a bit your upper arms, your lower arms, and your hands, like feeling the tissue here, the skin slightly expanding with the inhalation. And with the exhalation, dropping down, sinking down to earth. With the inhalation, you could bring awareness into the area of your chest, into the area between the heart and the lungs. Feeling the expansion here of the tissue, of the skin. And with the exhalation, dropping down, release, rest the whole area of the chest, of the heart, the upper back, into the ground, towards the ground. And with the inhalation, feeling the expanding of the diaphragm and the belly and the pelvis. Maybe allowing these places to widen a bit, feeling the expansion on the skin, in the tissue. And with the exhalation, allowing to sink, dropping down, melt, release. And with the inhalation, bringing awareness into your thighs and knees, allowing these places to widen a bit, slightly, gently. And with the exhalation, allowing to drop down, to release, to become heavy. And with the inhalation, bringing awareness into your thighs and knees and lower legs and feet. Really feeling the tissue, the skin, really gently, really softly widening, opening. And with the exhalation, dropping down, thighs, knees, calves, feet into the ground, becoming heavy. And feeling the whole body breathing. The whole body like one organ on the organ of the earth, one body on the body of the earth. Having a sense of tissue and skin widening a tiny bit. And relaxing down to earth. Exhale. Sinking. So you can keep going with that. And if you find that there's a lot of agitation, anxiety, you could bring your hands into a nourishing contact with your chest maybe, or your forehead. You could move your hands and touch your face, or allow the hands to touch each other. And every time you're so free to move, to even walk around, to look out of the window. To go there where it's soothing, where there's a potential to soothe, to calm. And the invitation is with the inhalation to slightly open the palms of your hands and the palms of your feet, like inviting a micro movement there. And with the exhalation, just release, drop down. So going really tender and inwardly on the inhalation, inviting a very subtle movement, opening of the palms of your hands, of the palms of your feet. And with the exhalation, dropping down, release, relax, sink into the ground. And I encourage you to really keep this practice for a while with a really subtle, tender opening with every inhalation. Maybe still feeling the whole body, the whole skin, subtle movement opening in the palms of your hands, in the palms of your feet. And with the exhalation, release, doing nothing at all. And the invitation is to stay with what is soothing, where it feels juicy, alive. And one suggestion is to very tenderly and gently move your spine as if it were was a snake moving down, up. And if you're laying on the floor, you could imagine like laying in warm sand and kind of pushing your spine and parts of your back in the sand, making little holes here, moving the sand, moving the back on the earth. So this is especially an invitation if you're laying on your back on the floor or on your sofa to really feel the pushing into the ground, make movements. You can also do while sitting, starting the movements of the spine in your pelvis and allowing the movement to flow freely through the spine, starting in the pelvis, going up. No right, no wrong here, just so intuitively allowing yourself to be surprised what the body comes with, what is unfolding here in the tissue, in the cells, in the membranes. You can still go while doing this with the inhalation, having a sense of the skin over your whole body. Inhaling, maybe opening the palms of the feet and the hands. Sensing how everything sinks down with the exhalation, while maybe moving your spine, moving your back, the back of your head into the space behind, into the texture behind. And if the spine wouldn't end in the pelvis, but would continue through your legs, into your feet, through your arms, into your hands, just allowing this subtle micro movements in this long big spine, pushing itself again and again into the ground. And the vagus nerve loves it if we sigh and if we make sounds. And one sound you could invite, if it feels appropriate for you, it's like a sound of really until the end of the exhalation, like this really soft sound of while maybe still laying in the sand, moving your body through the sand, moving your body through space on the earth. being very slow with it and gentle, taking breaks, listening into the tissue with your tissue, listening into your cells with your cells. Maybe your micro movement can become more inwardly even. And for the last few minutes, maybe you want to keep moving, maybe just rest and listen, be. May all beings on earth get to know the joy and bliss of fully embodying their tissues. May all beings on earth be able to be in peace and joy and harmony with themselves and with each other. May there be peace on earth. Yeah, thank you all so much for practicing together and for bringing your trust and faith here, for allowing yourself to explore something new again and again, because this is where our path needs to go, into the unknown. Yeah. I'm so grateful for us being able to be here together. And I want to make a brief reminder about Dana, because this platform can only exist when we all contribute to it. And you being here is an amazing contribution, because I wouldn't enjoy myself being here if you weren't here. So it's also like a gift and a generosity really to all of us, because it makes a difference. Also, if there are only 5 people here, it's easier for people to show up if there are a lot of people here. Yeah, so thank you for that. And if you can, you're so invited to contribute financially to this platform running, and also to myself, because the money you give this week will be spread among Sangha Life and myself also. And I see if I can get the Dana link. Should work this time. So there it is. Yeah. So this is the link which leads you to the different possibilities to make Dana. Yeah, I wonder how this practice landed for you, how you are. If there are any questions, I can really recommend to practice embodiment. And if the body isn't a safe space, it's also really possible to practice within nature, with the tree, with the earth, the grass below. And another thing I really want to encourage again, like to get support and ask for help. We don't need to do it all alone, and we can't do it all alone. Like even the Buddha, when he was sitting under the tree in the night of his enlightenment, he did ask the earth for help. He put his hand on the earth, like, be my witness. We haven't got that in our culture so much that it's really a gift to ask for help. So there's a question from Caroline, a comment. Does the work you're doing in trauma-informed meditation include autism and neurodiversity and acceptance? As an autistic person, I'm aware that a lot of the material pathologizes autism and doesn't seem to understand that the starting neurologies of autistic people have an a typical starting point. I don't know what atypical means. Let me just listen. I mean, Caroline, what I understand, that you describe yourself as an autistic person. This is the technical side of it all. And I'm sorry that this happens. I'm challenged every time to find a place with a good Wi-Fi connection, because my husband, my neighbor, he put sun panels on his rooms. Sorry. Several people living in this house. And since then, my Wi-Fi connection is not working anymore. So, I wouldn't say this material I'm offering is pathologizing. I'm sorry, difficult word for me. Anything, because we don't have to look into stories. We don't have to come to any conclusions. We're just directly working with what is in our system. And it's for the process I'm inviting of like bringing awareness into more light things, more easy things, of enjoy to joy. It's really not needed at all to know why the system is in a certain stage. And also, like, I'm not very familiar with the diagnosis of autism. Like, I don't work in a clinical way, so I'm not sure if I understand your question well, Caroline, and I'm really sorry about that. But it sounds to me like a good question, and like that, like, just keep it awake in you. And yeah, I really trust in the body, in the here and now, and in also that in the outer support I can get. And I think trust is really important in our practice, because we do have can get trapped easily into the case that we think our practice is about controlling and making it right, and forcing ourselves, forcing our way to be calm, or forcing our way even into the body, being calm with the body. And if we put pressure on us, we can't feel calm and spacious. Like, so it's really trusting that if we are on the path, if we this one moment, if we're really aware of it, and diagnosis and the whole medical side of it, the clinical side, is like sometimes so helpful and important. And therefore, when our nervous systems are absolutely blocked, we can't get there out alone. And at the same time, like, this hour here, this just what's here right now, and thoughts about whatever, just thoughts for now, like for this time here. And also, don't, like, we have to be aware that we don't cover over the big mystery of life. Science can tell us a lot, but it can't tell us everything. Like 95% of everything ever being researched, of being explored, of the whole universe is unknown. So the things which were by science really found out is like 5% of the whole universe. This is nothing. So we need to open to the mystery. We need to open to the unknown. Yeah. Natalie, you say a feeling of grief, loss, sadness is in my chest arose, and there is fear that if I completely let go and surrender to it, it will overwhelm me. Any thoughts? Yeah, I have a thought. Thank you for your question, Natalie. What else is there? Like, this is what we always can invite. What else is there? So there is this feeling in your chest, for yourself, how it shows up. And what else is there? What is a resource? For example, you coming here is a big resource. How does that feel in your body? Just knowing you made your way here this morning. It's a resource if you can feel the ground. Can you feel the ground? I'm sure you can, Natalie. And if you focus on something in the room which is like beautiful or nice or soothing, like, can you stay with that just as long as possible? Like, really going always again to what is nourishing. And so it's not necessary to surrender completely or let go of that feeling in the chest. We allow it to be there. And there's the bridge, and there's like really something really happening there, something freedom. Like, if we can have both, like I show my hands, the feeling in the chest and the space around, maybe I just name anything, or the sun. And what else is there? There's the space between. And bringing the awareness again and again to that which feels good. So Mike, there's a question. During this practice, I felt a lot of heat come out of in my body, almost like a fever. I have never felt this before and wondering if that was the result of some release in the body. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's very likely that it's a release in your body, because our body has stored so much stuff. And if we, like for example now Natalie, if she's like going into this practice of, okay, there's this feeling in my chest and what else is there, and then eventually it might be that there's a big sigh, a bigger breath, and this is all release. And this is actually release of tension in our body, which could be like really long stored in our body already. So if this practice brought some, like if we go with the movement, like, because when we are very activated, the old block stuff in our body and our cells is not moving. It's frozen energy. It's energy of a movement we weren't able to do, like fight or flight. And as I said yesterday, I'm not talking about really intense, dramatic situations. Can be really subtle, but if your needs weren't met, and most of our needs weren't met when we were young, or were not met very often, or very often were not met, then something freezes, because this energy can't, our life energy can't go out there. So it shows as heat, as shivering, as sighing, as yawning. It can show in a movement we suddenly want to make. Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. So thank you for that question. And now I read from Caroline. The people who write about trauma say negative things about autism. Autism is no more medical than being gay. It's a way of being that is routinely yeah. This is not about science. Okay, just go with what is nourishing for you, Caroline. Go with what is nourishing. Like, we don't need to believe everything, and just follow your practice. Yeah. It's not about science. I understand. Yeah, I can absolutely relate to that, you know. Autism is no more medical than being gay. That's just what's there for your nervous system. And we go with what is there, and we bring compassion there, and we bring kindness there. So don't just really take also from my words only what is necessary. Take from science what is necessary, and leave the rest. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I earlier didn't understand your question in the right way. Tissue in the issue. Do I have more questions here? It's also 3 minutes past. So I will look through if there are more questions, and I come back to this then tomorrow. And I'm very grateful for you being here, and wishing you a good, restful day, and see you tomorrow. Bye.